ended up beating teams like AC Milan and Man United and all that because we managed different spells of the game. Deila, to me, as you say, he puts his game plan in. We heard from umpteen Norwegian journalists at the start of the season that he has no plan B. That's just this way or that's it. And he's just looking at it and saying, well, I can't change it because this is the only way I know.
Another interesting thing, right? See, I mean, are players getting overcoached as well with these tactics before games and all that? Because I remember a thing a while back with Frank McAvenny when he came in, and I can't remember the manager it was at the time, and he said he came into the dressing room and had this, that, and that tactics. Oh, it bores and that bar, and McAvenny says, what are you talking about? We're playing Hamilton. We're Celtic. We're just going to beat them. Is there a wee bit just no letting players play to their best capabilities as well? Like,
but we spoke about this weeks ago, I think, saying, like, just find what's good about that player, find what he can do, and assimilate that into the team, into the philosophy. Don't just set it. Like, I get the feeling when I see Dale on the touchline, he's just standing there looking, going, I can't understand why it's not working. I don't know why I became a Nazi, but fucking German there, I don't know why I have. But I just get the feeling he's just standing there going, like, I don't understand why it's not working. I ticked all the boxes, I did all the sums. Why is it not working? And you just don't see any passion. Whereas, like, I don't want to harp back to Neil Lennon, like, but you knew when Neil Lennon, especially Martin O'Neill, they were heading the ball, they were kicking the ball, they were shouting and screaming. And whether that has an effect on the actual tactics, I don't know. But it certainly fucking G's people up. You know what I mean? If you're working with somebody and somebody has enthusiasm, it'll affect you as well.
I think, Joe, the point you made there is the players you've got at your disposal, you get them doing what they're best at doing. Yep. You don't get Anthony Stokes to lead the line himself. You don't get Effie Ambrose to play as an attacking fullback because he can't cross the road. You get Azagiri to play as an attacking fullback, but when you get Azagiri to do that, you don't need a left winger because Azagiri will do it, so you can put three in the middle. Because your left midfielder can tuck inside because Azagiri will be bombing up and down the wing. You get players to do what they're best at doing. Oh. You get Tony Stokes to play off a target man. So because Tony Stokes, if he links in with Guidetti, he'll feed Guidetti all day, and Guidetti will get a barrel load of goals. So you rotate Guidetti and Skepovic to play with Stokes because he's great as a accompanying striker. Because as I say, Hooper wouldn't have got half his goals if it wasn't for Stokes. Some of his passing and intricate stuff's sublime, but he's just not very good at putting the ball in the net.
Jason, that's like, you see where I'm coming through the thing that McAvenny said there. I mean, it goes back to the thing where you're talking about our players are 10 times better than anything they're coming up against in Scotland. Why are they not just allowed to go out and play?
Right. Tactics are overrated.
What's that classic thing, that story of George Best? People used to tell George Best when he was going to the pitch, listen, just you go out and do whatever it is you do. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we have a George Best, but I mean, let a guy do what he does well. I mean, Lee Griffiths is good because he can run fast, and when he shoots, he's generally quite accurate, and he shoots from anywhere, and it won't affect his confidence, right? If you're playing a team and you think that may work, set it up like that,
See, the thing about Lee Griffiths, right, I'd have him, he'd be in my team. He'd be starting every, because I think you'll get, Lee Griffiths will play his heart out, regardless if Paul's saying he wants to be back to Hibs. But it doesn't matter, Lee Griffiths will still come in and play his heart out, because he just wants to play football. He's just one of the kids who just wants to go in the park, and he will play hard, and he'll play the same way every single week. He'll score goals, and he'll make things happen for himself. And there's no many players in our team that you can say that about at the minute.
Yeah.
But it seems to be his cards marked. He's finished under this manager.
I think Guidetti is a real fine, but if you're not going to use a guy like him properly, what's the point? I mean, it's just, I don't know, I'm baffled. It's like it's a big jumbled mess. It's like pulling your Christmas lights out, a week before Christmas, put your tree up, you're going, what the fuck is this? Well, trying to pull it all apart, and it just doesn't seem, I just can't see anything. I just don't see anything. I don't see a team I look forward to watching, which is sad.
Yeah.
Right. I think we've covered Tyler. I think we've covered where the team is.
Certainly haven't covered him in glory.
It's very.
Declan, we don't normally moan this much, honest.
It's just all very depressing, to be honest. Like it's a bit embarrassing as well. Like
One other thing, Dyla said in his interview the other day was that if Celtic and Scottish football weren't ready for his style of play, then he would rather just walk back to Norway than change it. And I think that's part of the thing as well, that he's not got any other ideas. That is, I think he'd rather walk away because he doesn't know what else to do. He doesn't have a plan B, and that's it.
Well, that's interesting.
I think Celtic have obviously took a gamble on this guy, and at the minute as it stands, it certainly isn't working out.
But I mean, is that the case then that he was the cheap option? Or are we back to this again? I mean,
he definitely was.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, the whole thing. Did he not try and bring his own guy in, or did he succeed in doing that? He had a guy from Strom's Gods that was meant to come in.
He's in.
Is he?
He's no sort of first team coach level. You know what I mean?
I mean,
sorry, I just want to come in there, right? Just sorry to butt in, but the call for an unknown caller that came up, and it only gave me the option to answer or hang up. And if I answered, it would have cut everybody else off, and I couldn't add them into the call. So I don't know if it's because you're it's a coming up unknown number. So
it's the Celtic bat phone, and it's untraceable.
I genuinely can't add this caller into the conversation. I think it's maybe because they're hiding the number or something. I don't know. No, let me add it.
So can you not answer them and then just add us back to the call? No.
Oh no, that'd be a huge pain in the arse, man. That's just not worth it. Like. So that unknown caller, if you could maybe, I don't know if you've got Skype and you can download. I don't know. It's probably going to be too much hassle, but
it might be Katie Declan's mum.
Tell him to get to his bed. Right, here we go now. Here's a caller. Right, you're on the line. Who's this? Hello? Hello, who's this?
It's, alright lads. It's just, that was the bat phone,
Alright, was you? It was coming up unknown caller, right?
No, it was just, I was on the landline and then I had to change over to the mobile,
Alright.
But, no, I was just, I listened in first.
What's your name, man? Sorry, man, wait now. What's your name?
Sorry, Joseph.
Joseph, right.
Yeah, mate.
Right, carry on, man.
No, I listened in first time last week, and I'd just like to say, I'd like to echo all the thoughts about how kind of scunnered everyone was at the end of the show with regards to the vote, because that was the first time I listened. I'm a bit of a podcast enthusiast, so I went back and, like, I do this with, like, Mark Kermode and Football Weekly podcast, went back through all the annals of the podcast, and I'm kind of working my way through. I know that's pretty bad, but
so you've worked your way through 135 shows in the last week?
No. I'm only just kind of working my way through them.
Yeah.
But no, I'd just like to echo the thoughts of that. I thought everything you said was bang on about like Scottish Labour and all the rest of it. But the other thing I'd like to say is with regards to Declan, who's on tonight, I think if only more folk in Scotland were representative of what you did and all the rest of it, I think that's pretty much what we really needed when it came to the 18th of September.
The good thing for me when I posted it in Celtic Minded, and another guy said, "Oh, it's my 65th next month," and somebody else said, "Oh, it's my 30th or whatever." I'm going to do the same. So that for me is good. If I can get one other person to do it, and then they can get one other person to do it, and they can get one other person to do it, then it'll make a bit more difference as well.
Yeah, no, that's it. And it's so. I mean, like, the biggest thing that you were talking about when it came to regards the vote and all the rest of it is the fact that everyone's. Sorry to get straight into this, but everyone was so quick to be talking about it being a success for democracy and stuff. But a success from democracy only comes if everyone's well informed on what they're doing. And the way it was set up, it wasn't really. But just as you were getting off the point of dialogue, I just wanted to go back on it quickly.
Yeah, see, sorry, man. Can you just carry on with it, man? I'm waiting. I bought a tonic water. Right?
Yeah.
What's that? Sorry.
Harper's spelling is right.
Just carry on.
He's an alcoholic.
Sorry. No, it was just. I've been to. I don't make that many games because I've been up in Aberdeen the last 6 years studying. So like, living on the breadline and all that, it's hard to make it down, especially when you're getting the one-off tickets at 35 quid odd and all the rest of it. I've been to 2 games since the start of the season and they were kind of mixed, distinguished. I've probably had the best of it, and by what I've watched yesterday and amongst other games, not the worst of it against Maribor as well. Went to the Dundee United game, obviously, and I don't know, it's weird. I was saying to one of my mates last season, I remember obviously, because in Aberdeen you get it's either Aberdeen fans and there was a lot of people I had to put up with that were Man United fans that had never ever seen Old Trafford and the rest of it. And one of the arguments I was making last season to them was that I was putting it in the context of the Premier League, which for me is the scourge of the earth anyway, but I was putting it in the context of the Premier League and saying when Rodgers went into Liverpool, one of the things that Rodgers did that I thought was better than, or was more identifiable than Moyes, was that when Man United fans were trying to make the argument for having Moyes, is that I felt Rodgers had given Liverpool fans something to hold on to. I think it was Paul said earlier on about the fact that when you consider John Barnes and you consider Tony Mowbray, like I know those, like it's cutthroat and there was like short term thinking that you're looking at, but like, I was at the game, the opening game of the season under Mowbray. Was it 3-1 against Aberdeen at Pittodrie? And like I know it all went tits up pretty quickly, but like some of the football in that game alone, and at the start of that season was, you know, like it was something to behold, and like you know, at least for all the talk that you got, and for all the like expansive football, you know, all the rest of it, it's like you know, we actually seen some of that. And the other thing is, my memory's no great with regards to the start of the season, but there was a game I was watching. It might have been in Legia away, where I remember at the very start, like Deija says all the right things with regard to diet, professional athletes, all the rest of it, but I remember at the start of the season watching one of the games and thinking, talks so much about systems, but yet one of the things that struck me is that any good manager worth his salt would almost immediately work out that you can't implement a system if you don't have the players to do it. And I just felt that like this idea of imposing on players a system that, you know, most of them are not going to be able to accommodate. You can't turn, you know, a mid, or even just like, you know, the team as it was for the last quarter of last season into this, you know, uber, regarding what he was saying at the start of the season anyway, this uber pressing, you know, high intensity team. It's just, it doesn't sometimes work like that when you've not got the, you know, you've not got the players to accommodate it, and just, God, I'm at loose ends, because, you know, it's the same, I've got the exact same mixed feelings, and it's pulling both ways with like regards to Mowbray, because I always remember I was one of the ones saying, you know, I want it to work and all the rest of it and that, but it's just, oh God, it's bad. It really is.
I totally agree with you, mate. I think we all want it to work, you know, but as it's turgid, and you're right. Under the other managers, Paul's mentioned McCarry aside, there was good games, you know, but this is brutal. You know, this is giving us nothing. Sorry,
I'll tell you.
He's talking about there at Pittodrie, if you remember, McGeady and Maloney absolutely tore Aberdeen to pieces that day.
Unbelievable.
You watched a bit of expansive football and you thought, all right, this is pretty good. Do you know what I mean? Then we took
I think the thing is as well with regards. Sorry to cut in. The thing that you're saying there about it being so expansive is that when criticism came from Mowbray, you were quick to point out that there were actually performances that you could hold on to. You know, United aside, what have we got at the minute, really? You know. But just if I could just, I don't know how long you lads are on for, or however long you've got left, or I just wanted to tell you a wee quick aside with regards to the situation at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just I've got two little brothers. Just quickly, I've got one down in Wales and one down in Greenock, and the pair of them are both half brothers, but the one in Greenock's a little bit older, and he's not as impressionable with Celtic and all the rest of it. And obviously, I grew up in a generation remembering the likes of like your Moravceks and all the rest of it, and I've got that kind of vehement need to at least try and influence them in some way. But my little brother in Wales, he's still young enough and impressionable enough that he's like, you know, he's going down there to school and all the rest of it. And he's telling me the other week, I'm just down in Wales at the moment, and I was actually watching the game with him yesterday, and he's been at one game with me so far, but like, you know, he's mum's got him the football kit and he goes to training and all the rest of it. Breaks my heart, because the boys at his football training are saying, Celtic are shite and Scottish football's shite, and you know, like, I'm always quick to fully load him with what was the one he came back from school with the other day. He came back from school with the other day, told me that the English Premier, he's 8, and he came back with the English Premier League. He told his mates is rampant capitalism at its worst. Not inspired, obviously, just by me, but no, just like, you know, I used to be filled with the ideas of kind of putting filling them optimistic ideas about Celtic and the idea of Champions League last